Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6. 6. I had to recheck that after discussing several times before going live of the Stronger Way podcast. This podcast and live is sponsored by Pat and me, who are running the Stronger Way Escapes retreat next year in the beautiful Alicante, Spain. We cannot wait. If you've been living under a rock by now and you don't know what it's about, it's basically a retreat for women to learn a sustainable and balanced way to approach this whole fitness thing. So you learn about training, nutrition, and mindset in a sustainable, fun, balanced way. No burpees at the crack of dawn. I have to emphasize on that every time I talk about the retreat, because this is not us. We're not about shocking your system with HIIT or anything else before you're not ready, we are not ready to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, I think it's more about that. It's like, you wake us up at 5 a.m. like where is my fitness class? And I'm like, give me 2 more hours.
Yeah. Anyway, please check us out. We are very excited, and I cannot wait to bring this to you. So, following up on last week's episode, which was about busting fitness myth for women and just in general. If you haven't watched that, please go and watch the replay. We are talking about rest and recovery, which is also a very underused tool in your fitness toolbox. Dare I say that? And one of the myths as well, we found why people are not getting results and are constantly burning out is because you're not resting enough. So today we'll share about our kind of tips and tricks and own experience with resting and why it's important for you and your progress. Pat, you've done bodybuilding.
I have, yes.
I want to bring back the trauma every week. But of course, you have to work hard there as well, right? And but I'm sure you had your rest days as well, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I have done bodybuilding.
Every time I say the B word.
The B word, the BB word, the double B word, bodybuilding. So if you don't know what bodybuilding is the tiny, shiny bikini, fake tan, high heels on a stage, showing off your muscles, which I am actually very, very proud of that I did that. So I know I'm like joking about it. And you know my story that I lost my period when I was pushing myself to the extremes with training and nutrition. And this is where we're going to talk about now rest as well. So obviously when you are training for a bodybuilding competition, I had to do my 1 hour cardio every day without a rest, 12,000 steps a day without rest, and being on a meal plan, right? However, our bodies, they do crave rest. So and a lot of the times, and especially like in a normal fitness routine, recovery can be not recovering. So working out with no recovery can be counterproductive. So even in like a bodybuilding routine, actually my body craved recovery, and there were times once every like 3 or 4 weeks where my body wouldn't react to the protocol. Even if we pushed further, my body just wouldn't react. I wouldn't drop weight. Nothing would change. All I would feel is that I would get even more tired, and I would be like, I can't do this anymore. And that's when even like my coach, in a very, very strict competition prep, told me, okay, we're taking 2 rest days. And 2 rest days right now, I know it's normal. You should have 2 rest days always. In a bodybuilding competition prep, that's quite a lot of time. However, so what happens, as we said, is that working out with no recovery can be counterproductive. Why is that? Because how our muscles grow is that when you're working out, you're actually creating micro tears in your muscle fibers, right? So when you're doing like a biceps curl, you're like tearing down your muscle fibers. And how they grow is that when they recover and when they grow back again together, your muscle fibers, that's how you get new muscle new muscle fibers that are like bigger, right? And so how we grow muscle is that we tear the muscle fibers and then we grow them back. But the growing back process, that can only happen during recovery. So you need to give it time and protein and water.
Importantly, protein.
The three ingredients: time, protein, and water, for your muscles to recover and regenerate again before you go into the gym again. So if you don't give your muscles time and your body time, then you won't be able to grow and progress in your physique goals in general. So that is the physical science, let's say, in a very simplistic way, about why recovery is important. And this is why when I was preparing for a bodybuilding competition, I also did need to take a couple of days off when my body stopped responding, because my body just said, like, I didn't have time to fucking recover. Like, woman, give me a fucking break. That's literally what my body was saying.
Yes, and I brought this up. I didn't know I would bring this up, so she's like, but I bring this up. I tell you why. Because most people, still, the fitness industry is still portrayed by athletes, and the what's the word, epitome of fitness and being a knowledgeable, credible source of fitness is obviously looking all shredded. Okay, so I'm bringing this up, which A, this is bullshit, but B is, even your top athletes will take their rest and recovery very, very serious. So why are you, as a average person who, I'm saying this in a very loving way, but as an average person who just want to care a little bit more about their body, maybe get in shape and just feel a bit better, not take a rest day and not take recovery? Because I like to kind of divide these two, right? So there's recovery and there's rest day. And yes, a rest day is recovery, but recovery is, like we just said, it's hydration and it's sleep and it's whatever you're feeding your body. So in order to be able to perform very, very well, no matter if you do your Pilates or your HIIT, beta, whatever, Zumba class, or you do extreme weightlifting, it factors in for everything. If you want to get results, you need to be strategic about your plan during the week, right? You can't do 4 days in a row and then do nothing. That's like the worst kind of outline you can have in your program, right? So you need to be a bit smarter about rest and recovery days, but then also fuel your body, right? So sleep.
Yeah.
We do hot and cold therapy if you wish. Make sure all the basics are done first, though. And of course, nutrients and food. You need to fuel your body, especially when you work out. A lot of people don't see results and are constantly tired. It's not because you're doing too much. I promise you're not doing too much. You're just doing it not in a very efficient and effective way, and in a way that is actually benefiting you, right? Because again, like we just like Pat just mentioned, you're tearing down your muscles, which is a good thing, right? You need to give them adequate things in order to replenish and rebuild, and this is down to protein and rest and other things. But again, get the basics done first. So yes, I brought this up because why you as the average person shouldn't also rest when top athletes take their recovery serious.
Absolutely. I think I do agree with you, and I do like to call people out as well, being like, look, if the top athletes are not doing this, why do you think that you do not need rest and recovery? Like, why do you think that you're different? But I do want to acknowledge the mental aspect of it, because I know that when we start working out, we think that, okay, when we're working out, we're making progress, right? Like, that's our step towards progress, whether your goal is fat loss or building muscle, whatever it is. The work that you put in, that's when you feel like you're making progress. And so when you're not working out, your brain will go to this place where you're thinking, I'm not working out, so I'm not making progress. So in your head or in our head, it is a very normal human thing. This is like psychology that, if you equate workouts with progress, then if you're not working out, you equate that with not progress, right? And that's something that needs to be reframed and reprogrammed in all of our minds, that recovery is actually part of making progress. So if we can equate a certain number of days of workouts and a certain number of days of recovery and rest with progress, like together, like as a package, then I think that's very, very helpful for the mind. And I think that's the shift that most of us need to make. I definitely had to make it myself, especially like when you compete, you feel like, okay, I always have to work to get the results. And for me to take 2 rest days in a bodybuilding competition prep, it was very, very hard mentally, not physically. Physically, I was fucking happy because I was tired, right? But mentally, I was like, oh my God, I'm like going backwards. I can't not do my cardio because I will, put on weight, which like I'm currently in a diet phase. So I can't. And even though I was already a professional, like I have had my education about all of these topics. And I knew that recovery is also adding to my progress. When I was in it, it was harder, right? Like when you know something objectively, but emotionally you still feel that you're not making progress, it's hard. But this is why have a think, and this is what I want you to reframe. Not like progress is not only your workouts, progress is workouts with strategic rest and recovery, right? So I think this would be like my main message for today, for sure.
Yes, and just think that if you give your body appropriate rest and recovery, you're able to perform better. So you're better off hitting your workouts, the gym, whatever you choose to do 2 to 3 times a week by putting in 100% of effort and really literally putting in all you have. You'll get more, better and faster results than if you go 6 times a week and just half-assing everything, because literally you're hurting, you're tired, and your body didn't have enough fuel to actually do whatever you expect it to do right now, right? And I think that is what so many people get really, really wrong, is more isn't always better. Better is always better, right? This is what I like to say always and forever is you have to work hard, but you have to also work very smart. And again, if you're an average person who just wants to get a bit healthier and a bit fitter and care for yourself and body with a normal life schedule, which is work and family and relationships and maybe also having a social life or whatever, right? Don't expect that you can put in the same like an athlete, but also we have to be realistic. Like, what can you consistently do during the week? And if that's only 2 times, that's great, but you have to do those 2 times in a way that is very super efficient. And there's absolutely no purpose to getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning to do your cardio or your session. If you're tired, you're on the edge of a burnout because you're so overdoing everything and just having to wear 20 party hats at the same time. It just doesn't work like that. So scale it back a bit, but for the time that you do have, you have to put in all the effort, and the most results will happen when you do give that recovery time and fuel your body properly, right? You can't do all the work and then you're so tired you end up eating shit because you have to get some energy from somewhere, right? So it's this like never-ending circle, which will then have you feeling frustrated and fall on and off the wagon because it's just too much. It's too much and you can't handle it. So downtime is important.
Yeah, so I think let's give the listeners some practical tools and some basics that would really help their rest and recovery. So I will start, and you can add in your thoughts as well, Julia. So first of all, as Julia said, recovery is not only rest, but it also has other aspects, right? So yeah, recovery is rest. So you do need to take your rest days. So I would say you need to strength train or do some type of resistance training 2 or 3 times a week. That's a minimum. And on top of that, if you want to do anything else, like your Zumba class, your Pilates class, go hiking, amazing, do that. Now, I would not recommend to work out more than 5 times a week, like the intentional, like intense training. Unless you because then we're going into like the athlete category. So I would not work out more than 5 times. So 2 rest days are super important per week. That means that on rest days, we're not doing any intentional workouts. You can do your steps. So you still do need to do your basic steps, which should range from like a minimum of 7,000 to around like 10,000 steps a day. And if you want to do some very light, like recovery movement, like yoga, but just like very like stretching, like not the, your crazy yoga, you can. But ideally, you just do your steps and that's it. That's your rest day. Okay, minimum 2 of in the week, but most people have 3 or 4, right? Then that was your rest days. Then you need to sleep, and that's every day. You need to sleep. You need to aim for
Please sleep every day.
Well, yeah, so because I know I know a lot of people who are like pushing, like hustling so hard that they're sleeping like 5 hours a day during the week, and then but I will catch up over the weekend and I will sleep like 10, 11 hours. No, no, that's not how it works. You need to consistently get enough sleep and good quality sleep as well. And yeah, of course, you will have days where you sleep like shit, and there will be days where you have to wake up earlier and you only sleep 5 hours. And obviously, like if we start talking about new parents or stuff, like that's a whole another ballgame, and we do understand that. And we do need to try and prioritize our sleep, right? So that's number 2 of recovery. Rest days, sleep. Then hydration, water. As I said, it is also like keeping your body hydrated. Water, literally, like your body needs water for every single like process that's going on in your body, and that includes recovering your muscle fibers that you're tearing down while you're working out. So you do need water. And the 4th thing would be nutrition, which means fuel your body, which means a basic, like you need to prioritize your protein intake, which would be around 2 to 2.5 grams per body weight in kilograms. If you're doing resistance training, again, 2 or 2.5 grams per kilogram in body weight. Did I say it the right way? Yes. 2 grams per kilogram, yes, in body weight. And you need to prioritize eating fiber and vegetables. So I don't know, Julia, what's your basic amount of vegetables that you usually recommend?
Like a handful at least.
Yeah, I would say like 2-3 fists a day.
So but see, for me, I base it around how much do you currently eat, because I don't want to overwhelm people with the first day of changing something like.
Absolutely.
But yes, try to have like a minimum of 1 handful of vegetables with every meal, and then you can upgrade
with every meal. Yeah, I meant like over the way. Yes,
with every meal.
Absolutely, yes. So, and having said all of this, maybe it sounds a bit steep for some of you, as Julia said as well. Like it depends on where you are right now. I don't want you to jump from like I'm not doing like I'm doing 2,000 steps a day because my job is very sedentary, to doing 10,000 steps from tomorrow on every day, because you will not be able to do that. I want you to gradually build up. So see where you're currently at. Like if you're taking 2,000 steps a day this week, on average, then next week try to push for 3,000 steps a day, and week by week build up slowly and get your body used to it.
A good thing to do, and this is what I do with my clients when they start with me, and I think you do the same, right? Is like the first week is literally nothing but getting to know your starting point. What are your habits? What are your sleep patterns? What are your steps? What is your food intake? So you can do that for you like for yourself, right? So take 1 week where you're becoming very mindful about like, okay, like monitoring, like don't change anything, just literally monitor what you're doing, like count your steps, how like rate your sleep in the morning, how do you feel, why do you feel like that, and then be a bit more mindful about what you're eating in terms of not changing things, but like looking at what you're eating. And then you can kind of reverse engineer from there, right? Like Pat just said, if you're right now doing 2,000 steps, can you do 2,500 next week? And then you build up from there. If you literally eat no vegetables, can you add like a handful of spinach to your eggs? Or can you do like literally anything? So building up gradually from there will give you the most success and most fun with it, because you're not going cold turkey from wherever your starting point is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I call this process a lifestyle audit, and I do this with every single person that starts working with me. Like, it doesn't work without it. And this is also something that we will want to get all the women done before they get to our retreat. As Julia said at the start, we are organizing an in-person fitness retreat next year in Spain for women, for 12 women only. It's very exclusive. And we will help you set up your goals, your healthy habits, your workouts, including your recovery and your rest based on what you're currently doing. So this is something that we will do with all our guests there as well, and we will walk you through it. And if this is something that you want to do with us and in person, we are so freaking excited to invite you to have a look at what we're doing. It's at the end of April next year in Spain. We'll leave the link wherever, somewhere. It's probably below. Usually it's below, to our retreat for women. It's called Stronger Fitness Escapes. So yeah, I think
that's it.
Yeah.
And we would love to hear, what is one thing you can do this week to help your rest and recovery? Leave it in the comments. Send us a DM, whatever works for you. Right? We'd love to hear from you. And yes, we hope this was very helpful, and to just really like ease your mind a little bit that, you know, you are allowed to rest and your body needs to recover in order to perform at its best. So
yeah, happy auditing your lifestyle, happy setting up your recovery plan, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.